be one of the most enjoyable phones you can buy. But it still isn't perfect, and there are a few things that you should know about before buying one. The design upgrades are small on paper, but I was surprised by how impactful they are in the real world. The Flip 8 is noticeably thinner, 6.1mm unfolded versus 6.5mm on the Flip 7, and it's lighter, 100.
And I mean, you can see a little bit just because of the distortion, but it's significantly improved. So if you've been waiting for a better a better crease in the screen, then, well, this is going to be good for you. We still got the 4.1-inch display on the front, 120 hertz refresh rate. Happy about that. We've got the 6.9-inch display on the inside.
Links to it in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. The retail price, $1,200. Comes in 4 different colors. This cream, pink, graphite that we're going to be checking out here today, and a Samsung.com exclusive mint color. There are 2 options to choose from. There's a base model with 256 gigs of storage, 12 gigs
of outside, getting hot, getting wet, getting off the productivity tools and onto a phone that maybe encourages you to use it a little bit less. I'm MrMobile, and I normally carry a Motorola Razr Ultra, but I've spent the past
minimum. I reached out to Samsung support. They told me I could exchange it in the store. I had to wait until all the stores got the phones. I went and exchanged it, problem solved. I have noticed that pre-orders often have a lot more issues than when you buy the phone 2 or 3 months after launch. That same thing happened with the Z Flip 6 when the digitizers.
Flip 8 takes this even further with some really smart upgrades on the software side. You can now use the 4.1-inch cover screen much more like a main display. For example, you can swipe up to reveal your app drawer, and here you'll find Samsung supported apps along with a selection of third-party apps. Now, I recommend installing Multistar, and this lets you add virtually any app on your Flip right to the cover screen.
We have a 4.1-inch outer screen here that is actually usable. Compared to some of the previous gen Flips that had about a 3.4-inch screen, it was much less usable. I also noticed a slight weight difference, a little bit lighter. Every gram does feel a little bit lighter on these foldables, especially 183 grams.
Do whatever you want. Well, Samsung has always said, this is a bigger version of a smartwatch. The Flip 8 is no different, really. While the interface has been made to behave more like the inner display, swipe down for notifications, swipe up for app launcher, side to side for different home screens.
It's called Multistar, and before, you would have to go into the settings. You have to go into S Labs or just Labs, and then front screen apps, and then you could basically have like 3 apps on there. Then you would have to go and download from the Galaxy Store Good Lock, and then get Multistar. The way that it opens and closes, it creates that kind of visual effect, but basically it feels like there's no crease there at all. So that's something that's really nice. And overall, I like the Z Flips. I've been covering them since the beginning. And Motorola does make things very much more competitive because they offer some good stuff, but
it's up to 2600 nits of brightness. One thing you will need to adjust to slightly are the bezels, which I wish were thinner and a little bit less raised than before, as you do feel them a bit when swiping. But honestly, this comes with the territory of any folding phone, and you do get used to it pretty quick. While the improvement isn't quite as dramatic as on the Flip 8 and Flip 8 Ultra, the crease is no.
Will be greeted by the 4.1-inch or the 6.9-inch inner display. Now, taking a minute to talk about this inner screen, since we do have a very different screen here over the other folds that have come out. Something I've definitely appreciated with this Flip 8 initially is that it's a much more comfortable feel in the hand. It's a totally rounded out phone.
Z Flip 8. And the last thing about build quality that I've noticed 1 week in is that it's so much lighter, and it feels even smaller than the Z Flip 7. Now, I know they did make the inner display a little bit smaller. I don't know why. It makes absolutely no sense, but it's literally not noticeable. Typing is still.
So leave a like if you're enjoying this video. Let's talk about cameras. From a hardware perspective, this dual camera is very familiar from last year, but Samsung has continued improving the software behind it. Most important are the intelligent Flip-specific camera features that Samsung have built to make taking photos on the Flip 8 just more fun. My favorite of which is to use the cover screen
selfie. This one has a 50 megapixel primary, 10 megapixel selfie, and it's 12 megapixel ultra wide, and it's the exact same cameras as last year. So you do have a slight update just because of the new chip, especially because we went a year without Snapdragon. So it does feel like you're going to get a little bit of a nice change there whenever it
web browsing, doing a couple updates, using a little bit of the camera. So even though this has a smaller battery than those other folds, with having a smaller screen here, I think that's going to help with the battery consumption being less. I was getting around 6 hours of screen on time in total on my Fold 8 and Fold 8 Ultra, so really promising battery life here.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the camera. But you might as well have clicked off. Like, it's got a camera, right? The Flip 7 had a camera too. The same exact camera as the one in the Flip 7, but with one major difference, one key difference. It's got a booty load more of AI enhancements. Like, you can no longer take a picture with this part right here. This is getting hot. This part is getting hot. So when I'm holding it, right? Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, yeah, audio is fantastic. Now, guys, like I said, everybody's a kebab, but this part is getting hot, right? So is this. This
is because it loves to pack them with expensive but powerful silicon. And here in the States, that holds true for the Flip 8. Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 keeps things humming along very nicely, from Messenger to Metal Storm. Voice calling on Verizon has been top-notch on my review sample, and what's more,
2:30 in the afternoon right now. It also doesn't show the time or your battery life. It just seems a bit limiting, and I haven't found a way to get rid of this screen or anything. It seems to be here by default, even though there's all these other pages that you can go ahead and switch the order of these ones. You seem to be stuck with this new main page now, but they're
plus we're doing 60-watt fast charging back in like 2020, and y'all clowned them with that propaganda for having unstable batteries that would blow up, but you only clowned yourselves. You're still afraid, Samsung, Young, of the Note fiasco, batteries blowing up in planes and stuff. Well, you learn and live, fam.
years. The Flip 6 went to $10.99, Flip 7 $10.99. Now this is $11.99. Here's the saving grace. Here is the saving grace. A lot of people get these through carriers. If you go through your carrier, there's a lot of options where basically they'll give you enough trade-in credit value for a lot of plans to where you can
a little funky after just a few months. And the Razr is both heavier and thicker than the Galaxy. Samsung was justified in the praise it allowed itself for creating the world's thinnest and lightest flip phone. It really does matter in this category, and you really do feel
the region, you still get a solid 12 gigabytes of RAM. So what has the real-world performance been like? Well, in my testing, it's been solid. Split-screen multitasking, gaming at 120Hz, or even editing photos in Lightroom all ran really well, and the Flip 8 always kept up. I also really like the 95/5 split-screen mode. This lets you
here to go ahead and switch this. Here's the full screen experience. So let's go ahead, check out a video here. It's definitely on the smaller side. You're going to get a much more enjoyable video experience on something like the Fold 8. Since on this Fold 8, you can turn this into landscape and get a really nice viewing experience. So definitely some benefits going